Hi Year 10, welcome back. Here is your lesson for Friday the 15th of January, period 1, which would normally be at 8:40 to 9:40. So hopefully you're doing it at that time. That's the idea. Try and do the lesson your normal period, and then hopefully you won't get bogged down during the day with too many tasks going on. So I hope everyone's okay. Can I just say that the last piece of work I set, lots of you did do it, and well done, thank you. I've given you your feedback, but a few people didn't do it. So Maria C, Jardel, Lloyd, Holly, Radine, Louis, Angelique, Darius, I haven't had your work handed in from the last piece. So the trouble with that is that it's all mounting up, which isn't great. So please, can you get the work done as you go? That would really help you when we get back to school. You're not going to be behind, and it would prove to me that you're actually doing something. Anyway, today you need your exercise book or paper. You need pens and paper. You might need some colours today, some pencils or some felt tips or some highlighters, and any revision guide that you have. Also might be an idea, if you've got a printer at home, to print off this picture of the heart at some point. Now on this video I've got a couple of other videos for you to look at as well. I'll put those after this PowerPoint, and then I'll set you some work as well. Alright, so let's get going. We're going to look at the heart now. We looked at the cardiovascular system last time and the functions of, and now we're moving on to the actual heart. So this is a picture of what the heart looks like, and I'll go straight on to here. It's being labelled. I'll get myself out of the way if I can, down here somewhere. So at some point you're going to have to know how to label the heart. There is a vague chance that they might ask you to label all of the heart in the exam, but what they commonly do is ask you to name just certain parts. All right, but obviously we don't know which parts, and you have to know all the different parts of the heart. And then you also have to describe how the blood flows around the heart. So that is the main part of this lesson. All right, so I'm going to try and talk you through this. You're going to have to learn that, and then I'm going to set you some work as well and some other little clips to watch. Okay, so first of all, this is how the heart looks. And the first confusing thing, I suppose, is that we call this side the right-hand side and this side the left-hand side, which as we look at it, whoopsie daisy, well that's okay because we got these. As we look at it, it looks as though it's on the wrong side. But the point is that we're imagining that the heart is actually in our chest. So if it was in my chest now, I'm trying to just show you, if the heart, well, camera's got it on the right, it's slightly to the, oh no, where is it? Slightly over to the left-hand side. And as you look at it now, if it was in my heart, this would be, as I'm looking, the right-hand side of it and the left. So you've got to imagine, I hope that's clear, sorry. You've got to imagine that the heart is inside your body, and then it will make sense that this actual side is which side? Do you remember? Let's go here again. Okay, so this side is the right hand side and this side is the left. Okay, so first of all, the blood comes in through the vena cava. Now you might have done this in science, so this will be an advantage if you have, but if you haven't, don't worry, here we go. So the blood comes in. This is called the superior vena cava, and this is called the inferior vena cava. So the blood comes in, first of all, through here, and it's bringing deoxygenated blood. That means blood that hasn't got any oxygen in, first of all. And it travels into this area. Now this area is called the right atrium. All right, the right atrium. It then travels through this little valve. This is a valve that prevents the blood from flowing back on itself, so the blood can only come into this bit. Now this valve is called a tricuspid valve. Tricuspid, and it comes into this little area here, which is a ventricle, and this is called the right ventricle. So these are the major parts. They're called the chambers of the heart. So this is the right atrium, this is the left atrium, this is the right ventricle, this is the left ventricle. And I have seen a question on one GCSE paper where it actually just asked you to identify the 4 chambers of the heart. So you just had to remember which was right and which was left. So here we are with the blood in the right ventricle. It then travels up through here. Now some of these valves have got different names, so don't worry too much about the valves, but this one is sometimes referred to as a pulmonary valve, and it comes up in this pulmonary valve through here, and this is the pulmonary artery, and it travels through here and then it comes out of the heart. Now I wonder, can you think where it's going? Where is it going now it's come out of the heart? Remember, it is deoxygenated at this point, so it's got no oxygen in it. So where must it go to get oxygen? Has anyone got it? Is anyone shouting it out? I can hear Raman shouting something out. Saravanan. No, Saravanan never shouts anything out. Lloyd? Might be. Okay, so anyway, it's going off and it's going to the lungs. Hooray, we got it! The lungs! So the lungs is where it gets oxygenated. That means it picks up oxygen, which is what we need back in the heart. Okay, so then the blood all comes back, fantastic, from the lungs, and it comes in here. And these things are called the pulmonary vein. So now we've got blood coming back to us through the pulmonary vein, oxygenated, and it comes into here. Do you remember? I did tell you what this was called. This is one of the main chambers. So which side is it? It's on the right. So it looks as though it's on the right, but yeah, it's on the left. So this is called the left atrium. So we've got oxygenated blood coming back through the pulmonary vein into the left atrium. It then comes through this valve. Can only travel this way. This is called the bicuspid valve. So slightly different to that one. That was tried. This one's the bicuspid valve, and it comes into this region here. Do you remember what this was called? That's right. It's the left ventricle. Okay, so through the left ventricle. Oh, I've made a little mistake there. Sorry. This is actually the bicuspid valve. I made a little mistake there. Let's just check that. No, it's not. That is the bicuspid valve. There we go. Sorry, I was correct first time. So, bicuspid valve. They haven't actually given that one a name. So, fair enough. Let's come back. Sorry about that, slightly confusing. So, here we are in the left ventricle. Okay, so it's coming through this valve now, and it's going up. Oh, aortic valve, sorry, that's called the aortic valve, my mistake. And that's easy to remember because this big thing up here is actually called the aorta, you can see there. So this is the final bit of the journey of the blood. Let's move me over here, sorry. Final bit. So up through the aortic valve into the aorta. This is a great big thing at the top. Wow, this is really interesting because you can see that the blood, or you know that the blood now has got oxygen in it. Where do you think it goes from the aorta? This is the big question. Where does the blood go from here, the aorta? It's got oxygen in it. Now, can I hear anyone? Jardel, I can hear you shouting if you're looking at the video. Louis, I haven't seen much work from you, so I hope you're watching and doing it. Maria C. Holly's probably shouting something out. Amelia, probably not shouting it out, but I'm sure you're thinking. And Rihanna, are you thinking? You don't say much in class, so you're probably not saying much now. Okay, so it comes out of the aorta and it goes off to your body, and the main bit is it goes to your working muscles. Because what do your working muscles need to do anything? They need oxygen. So this blood now is coming out full of oxygen, and it's going off to your working muscles wherever it's needed, whether it's your arms or your legs or your tummy or anything. And it's full of oxygen with all those red blood cells, so you can have the energy to do whatever physical activity you need to do. Excuse me. All right? And then, of course, it all starts again. Okay? So then it comes back in here through the vena cava, etc., throughout there into the lungs, gets oxygenated, comes back in through the ventricles, through the atriums, ventricles, and up through the aorta. It's going on all the time, constantly happening, so that we have enough oxygen to use in our bodies. So here is a labelled heart. You can have a look at that. Of course, you can pause the video at any time. I'm going to put this top video underneath this, because this is one of the videos that I love to watch. It helps me. I sing along to it. You can try and sing along to it as well. There's another picture of the heart. There's a little bit of an explanation about what's going on in the heart. There are also, here's a little, well, you can't see that, but here's a little task that I've set before in class, and actually probably this is an easier bit to write out. I normally do it in blanks and you have to fill in the blanks. And then sometimes as a homework I give this, can you make your own little diagram? So sometimes people have made fantastic pictures of how the heart works and how the blood flows around the heart. So then in class I would be going on to this. Can you label it now? This would be maybe a lesson after. Can you label it correctly? And you can see some of the other things that are written down here as well. Now at the very end I've got this tutorial that I found last year from another geezer, not me, but it's actually quite good, and it's a summary of all the stuff about the heart and the cardiovascular system. So we'll go back. This lesson is all about the heart. At the end of this session, well, not this video, but by the end of the whole lesson, I'd like you to be able to label the heart. So I suggest you print off or draw, if you prefer to draw it in your book, and be able to label it all correctly. And I also want you to be able to describe the blood flow around the body. I'm going to set you a question at the end of this video, which I'd like you to answer. All right? Now, I don't need necessarily, when I set your work, I don't need to see your notes. You have to do the notes. I'm presuming you're doing the notes. That's great. But if I ask you to upload work, it's the actual questions that I want answered to be uploaded. If I don't set a question, then I will want to see the notes, and I'll always make that clear. So anyway, I'm going to pause there. And I'm going to try and click on the videos so you can see them after this. I don't know quite how to embed them into this presentation, so I'll put them on afterwards, much easier for you to look at. All right, so try and get this work done today. I'm going to give you a day to do it, Friday, okay? I want it done during preferably period 1. Please keep going with all your work, guys. All right, I heard someone say in my form, what's the point of doing it all, because the exams are cancelled again this year, we probably won't do exams. Well, I think you will, because by the time you're coming to do the exams, the vaccine will have been out, everyone will be vaccinated, and exams will just run as normal. It's difficult for you, but they will run. I'm sure they will run. I wasn't sure they'd run this year, and I was proved right because the government pulled them, but I think they will this time. Okay, so I'm going to pause there and set it all up and get it all going. Oh, I'm also going to just show you a clip when I was testing beforehand. You might find it amusing. You might just want to whiz through it. Okay, thanks a lot. See you all. Have a nice weekend. Keep safe. Keep doing some exercise. Bit difficult when the weather's so rubbish, but even if you can get out, just do a little walk. Good for your emotional health. Okay, if you go with someone, good for your social health. And if you actually do the walk or a jog, good for your physical health. All right. See you later. Cheers. Bye.